All right, I'm going to show my new generic actions layer extension. It's delivered with generic actions. It's got you got to turn it on first in the options. I'm also going to turn on a debug option, which is new. That lets me see what names are being formed and how to look them up, and also a scaling that goes from 1.5 to 3. I'm going to go ahead and show each thing, but essentially it has 5 hooks in it that'll look up in your FGU images generic actions directory, or in your FGU campaign images generic actions directory, where it's the campaign and then your campaign name and the images. It'll actually look in there first and then the images directory. Right now I'm going to just show you me placing some of the on effect triggers that are only over tokens and have no other aspect except the on token placement, and they're not the best graphics. I'm just randomly doing it, and occasionally you'll get a failure, and my debug thing is showing you at the bottom there that it failed. Otherwise, it would tell you what corrections it made, or if it didn't make any corrections, so it just put it out there because different assets have different scales. And I'm just going to show you the default one that I dropped, same thing as I did for the charmed one, which I had a specific one for. And these can be removed on clicking the tokens or hitting end turn, or basically any of the operations executing that I support placing these. Right now I'm going to set the scale to 1.5, just show that on a couple of them. But the triggers are really any attack roll, or power save roll, or damage, or the heal, or the effect. And each of those I'll be looking up based on named rules you can look up in the forum. Essentially, they also all support certain key rules for naming, like distances can be appended to the thing so that you can apply different distances when there's a run. And basically, attack has a run, power save has a run, damage and heal both have a token and a run, and the effect, as I showed you, only has the one on the token, and the scaling applies to things that are only on token. So here I'm going to show you a bunch of the attacks, and I'm just doing crossbow is going to go to the default, and I have my sounds on. You'll just have to ignore the sounds. I'm not going to bother to mess with them. That's VLC sound, by the way. That's also posted in the forum, and actually in generic actions I put a post further down at the bottom about how I do my assets and my sounds. So here you can see another one's failing with that bug, and I'm just redoing it until it works. So if you do it with a PNG file, it'll always work. It's only WebM that are going to do it, and you'd want to make all your WebM and your PNGs and your tokens, for that matter, transparent if you want the best results. The sounds are going to become annoying, but I'm not going to bother with them. Basically, I'm just going to go through each of these. I'm showing you the damage, which is also a token placement and a run. So the arrow you see is the run, and the other is the token placement. Again, there's naming rules for those. You can look them up in the forums. What else here? No, yeah. Every time it does an automatic miss, you're going to get some commentary in my sounds. Let's see. I'm doing the dagger right now. It just shows a different run that it used for the attack. I also have scimitar, has a specific one. And the rest are going to devolve down to the power saves and whatever they have. Now I double clicked it because I'm stupid and I always forget. So it didn't manage to hit the delete of the layer before it got into here. So I'm going to just do it again once to show that that's how. Future is and that's about that for that. For the attacks and the runs and the tokens. And you can look up on the forum what's specific and what the naming are. And of course the debug there shows you what it's going to be looking up exactly. I'm going to do a fireball here, which of course I just arbitrarily made a run for the attack run, the power save run. And I did it again just to make sure it worked. And I'm also going to show you something this is my normal heal, which has WebM, and of course it failed on all four, so I'm going to run it again just to show you that it can work. And there, it worked on all four. I have no pattern on how that will work or fail when it's a WebM. Hopefully they'll fix it. Now this one has a ping, and I left it with no transparency to show the rotation, to give you an idea of how it's being rotated. That's about it. I mean, on post attack will always give you just a run. Power save will give you just a run. On damage and on heal will give you a token and an on run if you want it. And the on effect will only do a token. Now here I'm going to show you, if you have an advantages extension, a free extension I wrote to take care of some annoying stuff. I always wanted to use the pointer shapes to select things. Well, now I've taken that pointer shape and used the advantage code, which stores it, because FGU doesn't store it. So I have to do all sorts of weird things to store it, and it never knows it's unstored, even if the graphics go away, unless I delete it, and I'll show you the button for that. But essentially what it's going to do is it's going to, and of course it failed on scaling again, it's going to look up whatever match I have there based on the debug that you saw, and it's going to apply to the actual shape and scale it and orient it. And if you put something reasonable like I just did, then it'll work. And that's for that particular shape. Now it'll never go away, as I'm showing you now. It always remembers the last one. So, and that's the two layers that'll always form. And I need to find a way to make the pointer layer come under the generic action layer. I haven't figured that out yet, how to do that. For some reason I'm not doing it. And that button there is where it'll clear the actual memory of the shape from the advantages extension. There's no other way. You just have to clear it. And then once it's cleared out of the buffer memory, then when you do it, it won't apply it anymore. And that's same for targeting. I'm going to show you the circle shape just for the heck of it. And again, I'm just using crap WebM choices for testing. You'd want to pick relevant ones, or even if you wanted one. I mean, some of these things you may not want runs on at all, or things like that. Pretty much all I wanted to show, I think. Now that kind of blurs it when the shape's there, and I can just left right click and it'll go away, and you'll see the thing underneath. And you can also delete those layers manually too. So, but Ntern will do it in any of the selections.